Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. I'm Susie, and this podcast helps you navigate your journey through the crossroads by taking a deeper look into witchcraft and spirituality. So settle in, grab your beverage of choice, and let's get this episode going. I had to record 3 times already, so the Mercury retrograde is still retrograding. How are you doing out there? My gosh. Cracking myself up. I'm like, blah, 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 I can't get the words out. Words are really hard. And like, how many times have I had to start this recording? My gosh. I'm still getting the feel for recording a podcast. And it's been amazing as I've started. However, I I've been lucky enough, knock on wood, right? That I haven't had to really edit the audio. I've done it all in one go, like one take, wham, bam, here you go, straight to your ear holes. What's it's a weird way of saying your ears. Anyway, so as I messed up the last recording, I'm like, maybe this is my sign to start learning how to like edit my audio because what the heck is happening right now? So, also, I'm recording in the morning and I normally don't record in the morning, so I still have my coffee. What are you drinking? What have you had or are having as a beverage of choice right now? This podcast is brought to you by my lukewarm coffee. I am a slow eater and a slow drinker. So much so that my husband had gifted me an ember years ago. So it charges this thermos and you can keep whatever is in it, either hot or cold. And, because I mean, I'm slow at drinking. I'm very, very slow at eating. It's just, I take my time. But it was actually nice to have hot coffee throughout my morning. All right. Now that the silly shenanigans is out of the way, let's get started. If you caught my last episode, I was talking about how that episode didn't really go the way I thought it was going to go. I was going to talk about what is magic, and I ended up starting about the eclipse that had just happened last week on Monday, and that energy mixing with that Mercury retrograde just nestled all up in there. How, one, I was busy at my mundane job. Two, just noticing little things where I did need to slow down, but also the annoyances. And maybe that's, I don't know, the Aries season the energy around. I was just getting fired up. And then how on one day, on Tuesday, actually, it was it just felt like one thing after another after another. So anyway, I discussed that in my last episode and just almost like a pre-warning. And I do want to discuss this at length later. I do have a guest in mind, but about spiritual bypassing and how love and light people, quote unquote, spiritualists, um, tell you, like, oh, you're depressed. Well, just don't be sad. Everything's love and light. And I really did go into a little bit more depth about that and the shadow work. And I gave 2 journal prompts. So if you missed it, I would go back to that episode. I didn't expect it to make such an impact as I was, opening and using my safe space that I'm creating here to be vulnerable. And I want to thank you for also having that space for me, holding that space for me. So as we get into it, I feel a lot better. I feel more grounded. This past weekend, I had my free master energy session. If you missed it, don't worry, I have more to come, but I am actually launching a program called the Phoenix Rising. And it now that, in hindsight, I'm looking at it, and one, I am building a safe community where you don't feel judgment. You can be yourself. You can bring whatever is weighing you down, right? Whatever blocks you may be experiencing, and we take a deep dive and look into it using, witchcraft and spirituality and really just the sisterhood, really mending that sister wound and the witch wound. So it was amazing. It was fantastical. I can't put into words how amazing it was just to have, even though it was a virtual um session, it was just amazing to be surrounded by a group of people who want the same thing and are lending expertise, like lending their opinions and just, holding space for each other. It was very, very beautiful. It was very, very powerful, to be very honest. So, I don't want to plug too much of my program. You can find all the links here because I really do want to get into this episode about what is magic. But the Phoenix Rising is centered around you. And this last episode that I recorded is me like showing you that we are all human living this human experience, and we're gonna have human emotions and things that happen, and trying to understand, I don't say like why things happen, but really taking a look at the picture from a different perspective on, yes, why things happen, but really why you are feeling the way that you're feeling. So in my program, it's a 3-month program, and we come together as a community, right? And we discuss things, what came up, et cetera, et cetera. Then you have a one-on-one with me each month. And there is where, we really do the work. What's coming through specifically for you? How can I support you? And I give you just a bunch of different, and everyone's going to be different. Some of you might need extra Reiki or reading or, going through maybe a checklist of things. So the way we can really get down to any blocks you're feeling. You're doing the abundance spells, you're putting in the work, but you're still feeling a certain way. Let's deconstruct that a little bit. Let's start from the beginning. So that's what my program in a nutshell is about. Again, I don't want to go into it too long because I do want to get into this episode. But click the links. If you have any questions, of course, hit me up. You can send me a DM, you can send me an email. I'll have a lot of information on my website about what my program is about, um, payments, what you get, and hopefully how you will feel coming out of this 3-month program, which is the perfect time to do it. Honestly, it's springtime. It's a time where we're starting to get our energy back and we're really blooming. It's the start of the new year, and it's a good time to do something for yourself. If anything, taking these moments, these mindful moments for you. What a great way to spend at least 3 months of really concentrating your focus on your needs and your wants and to relax and to push that anxiety out and away from you. So, again, it's called the Phoenix Rising. You can find the links below in the show notes. Awesome. All right, well, let's get down to business. What is magic, right? So in the past episodes, we talked about witches, types of witches that you may resonate with. Like I said, I'm an eclectic witch, so I like to dabble in almost everything. A little bit of the history, getting down to foundations, how to, do your basic foundational work, right? So, warding, grounding, etc. Now we're getting into, well, what is magic? I'm gonna be so straight up with you. I love seeing magic, like literal magic shows with the magician and all that. I love that. And to me, that's just like an inner child thing. It's not that I went to magic shows and my parents didn't take me to magic shows, but I just always had a fascination with it. Like, amazing. I was always like, wow. Even though people are like, oh, it's because there's a this, trying to explain it and take the magic away from me. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not here to like try to debunk this magic. I'm here to enjoy it, to be in awe, to be shocked, to be, I don't know, feeling that lightness, that childlike energy where everything is just new and you're seeing things with like fresh, young eyes, so to speak. So, magic as a witch or, doing your spiritual practice, we talk a lot about you are the magic. But before I go off, let me go through my notes. And when you literally, if you're going to go Google the definition of magic in the dictionary, right? Magic can be a noun, the power of apparently influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. It's an adjective used in magic or working by magic, having or apparently having supernatural powers, a magic wand, right? So, as a verb, move, change, or create by or as if by magic. So, magic has always been something that we are in awe of. And looking at, I've been on a kick of like going on to Britannica for some reason. I have no idea why. But magic is a concept to describe a mode of rationality or a way of thinking that looks to like invisible influences and forces, to affect the change in material conditions, right? Almost like it's an illusion of change. But the definition of magics are subject. It's a wide debate. You can ask each person, what is magic to you? What is magic to you? What is magic to you? Um, Looking at different practices like divination, astrology, sorcery, alchemy, necromancy. Magic is used as, uh, to refer to acts of like, like a sleight of hand for entertainment, like magic shows. But the purpose of magic is to acquire knowledge, power, like calling back your power, to heal, to ward things off. And the effectiveness of your magic is thought to have been, only harnessed by the magician. So why is that? The magic is such a phenomenon, right? Where back then, back if we look way back, if you were to conjure up a bunch of herbs and you put them together in your cauldron and you create this medicine, it was like, oh my gosh, that's witchcraft if you were not a doctor, but you're a healer. And then we have people that are so scared of magic because they think of black magic versus white magic. But there's no such thing. Just like your shadow self isn't something to be feared, it is part of you. Now, the thing with all of this is to be grounded and to understand and to continue to gain the knowledge, obviously. So, yeah, you can use a certain plant or herb, but once you, and which is very, harmless, But once you start to either burn it, use your mortar and pestle, mix it in your food, drink, then it's poisonous. And then if you're using it, maybe not, in the best of ways if you're looking to cause harm. But again, that people say, oh, it's because of that black magic, that dark magic. We have to look at the situations as well. I digress. So, Magick, you are the magic. You yourself, you listening, gorgeous soul, you are the magic. So, what does that mean for you? That means you gotta find whatever you find interesting. I was gonna say whatever lights you up, but you're still learning. And really start to think, okay, what do I really enjoy? And then really start acquiring the knowledge in that. But doesn't have to be this big wide thing. Magic begins with you. That's why I started with foundations, learning how to ground, to center, to cleanse, to ward, protecting yourself, your energy, your space. And I don't want to get into like different rabbit holes, right? But if we're looking at magic, back then, before we got bombarded and we started to fear magic through Christianity and Christianity and religion, the magic there was within the healers and particularly with the women, because as women we create, right? Even if you identify as a woman, we create. We go through our bleeds, which was that in itself was magical. And we became more intuitive. And everybody knew that. And everybody catered to the woman going through the bleed or creating life within her. Because we are open and we are receiving the downloads. But in the first thing is your belief. I mean, you can see magic everywhere if you're like, what is magic? And some people are just like, well, I don't know. But if you take something as simple as celebrating a birthday, making a wish as you blow out the candle, that's magic. That's a spell right there. You're using fire magic. You are saying an intention either, out loud or in your head, and you blow that candle to send that wish out into the universe. That's magic. You just became a magical being right then and there, just thinking about it. Because a lot of times with what we see on social media, we think of like, oh, a witch has a pointy hat and has their cat familiar and the broomstick and all these things. I was going to say todas esas cosas, right? All these things. But forget all that. You are the magic within you. You have what it takes. You start looking at the world like, I don't know about that. Or, let me start digging a little bit into this. And everyone thinks that, oh no, I don't have what it takes to do that. Yeah, you do. You just need a place to start. And that's why I love what I'm doing here. I love teaching. I love learning. I love, giving you this information for free 99. Not taken advantage of. You are on your journey. But you gotta really believe and embark of what you're doing. because now that you know that you're just born a magical being, now it's believing in ourselves, saying the words. That's why words of affirmation or your mantras, how you speak to yourself in your mind, is very important. And then you take the action on it, especially if you're saying, a word of affirmation to yourself on a Friday, because that is Venus Day, and you're going to do some glamour magic and just say, I am a beautiful goddess, and the universe conspires that I get everything what I want. And, you know, I attract with it and I protect my energy with, your liner or your lip gloss. That's magic, and you're putting it into, you believe it and you go forward with it. It's beautiful. Um, I remember, okay, growing up, I know, in society, we're taught to be little princesses, right? You're little princess and you're a damsel in distress. Um, what else? You need to find your prince charming and they'll take care of you. La la la. Cool, cool, cool. I did love like the love aspect of it. So you find someone, it's like that's your person. It did seem very sweet to me. But even at a young age, as beautiful as the princesses were, and I wanted to be beautiful, I always loved the fucking the evildoer, quote unquote, the witch. I always did. My favorite fairy tale growing up, my favorite Disney movie that I would watch on repeat was Sleeping Beauty. And I love that Sleeping Beauty could talk to the animals. I think that's what it was. She had her three fairy godmothers, and they're fairies. And I mean, it was cool that she, was born of royalty, but she was living in a cottage and she was just so free. That aspect I did love. She talked to the animals. But I really did love Maleficent. Oh, I was just like, fuck yeah, I could really fuck with Maleficent right now. Like I, yes, she was dark and, she was seen as scary and evil because she just wanted to, quote unquote, do away with Sleeping Beauty to get back at, all this stuff. But I always love how the witches like glide down the steps. Just glide, Maleficent did it, and the witch from what is that? Not Sleeping Beauty, Snow White. I don't know why, like maybe it's the robes. Maybe I'm just meant to buy one of those robes off Amazon. I probably should. Maybe that'll be a birthday gift to myself. Anyway, and just the way that they can conjure things up, like they're working and they're reading and they're researching, and then they have their familiar, with them. I don't know if you know this. I don't think you do, unless you listen to the podcast I hosted before this one. But I have a parrot. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And she has her little crow. I have my little parrot. And I don't know. I could see both sides. Even at an early age, I could see both sides. And when they did the live action Sleeping Beauty, I fell in love with Maleficent even more in learning her background story because we all have a story. So I am interested. I am curious if anybody else out there resonated with I guess the dark side or the evil side or the wicked witches. Um Not that I didn't love the princesses, I really, really did. I mean, they were beautiful, they had beautiful singing voices, and they could talk to the animals. I think that was my thing. I just love that they could talk to the animals. And they were like a free spirit. But man, I really did understand the evil witches. I really did. I really did. And as I was getting into Star Wars, like I knew Star Wars, but I really didn't get into that universe really until I got a little bit older and they started coming out with all the other Star Wars movies. And let me tell you, and my husband tells me too, like I tell my husband this all the time because, we are just a Star Wars household here. I tell him because we watch the cartoons and it breaks my heart. Spoiler alert if you don't know who Darth Vader is, so you might want to skip a few seconds if you don't know. But um breaks my heart how Anakin becomes Darth Vader because I can see it, I can feel, I feel like I'm just such an empath. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can see why he's heartbroken. He's trying to help everyone. Yeah, he has, these anger issues, but like, gosh damn, look at, his upbringing. He's trying his best. And I mean, I could see it. I really, really can. Anyways, I was just curious. I wanted to just let that out there. But your witchcraft, your craft, your magic, it really is a way of life that supports you in your being, what is important to you. And just like I had said in my other episode, to be a witch is like to be part of the rebellion. Like you're not going with the flow. You're not like mindlessly just, staying in your line. And when you're not conforming, then you're seen as quote unquote weird or quote unquote you're too much. No, you're not too much. You're not too loud. You're not weird. You are you. In a world that wants to control that, in a world that wants to keep you in a box and do the things that they want you to do. But deep down inside you, you feel that pull like, this is not me. This is not right. This feels awful. It feels gross in whatever shell they're trying to like mold me into. My ear is ringing. Thanks, Ferret. Your magic and your craft is also knowing that you're not just going to allow life to pass you by. Just like I said in my last episode, I was feeling like life was happening to me. Like, oh, well, the doctor can't find my MRI. I guess that's just my luck. You know what is always my luck is that people always get my order wrong if I go out to eat. Just always. Or they forget my plate. It's so wild to me. And I would always be like, well, I guess that's just my luck. But to speak up, you're like, it's fine. It's okay. I don't want anyone waiting on me. Anyway, that's my little tidbit. I don't know if anyone else has that kind of run of luck, but the most important tool, instead of getting, when you're first starting, or even if you're a seasoned, you know, practitioner right now, you're a seasoned witch, you're a seasoned spiritualist, you've been doing this for years and years and years, just to know that you don't need all the things. You really don't. You don't need to have your wand. You don't need to have a massive amount of crystals and oils and herbs and, um, all these other things, et cetera, all your divination tools. Is it awesome? Fuck yeah, it is. Shoot. Let me tell you how many crystals I got. But at the end of the day, what is the point of having all of these things if you yourself cannot harness your magic because you either don't believe, you're still a little skeptical, um, you're a little back and forth, you're not really seeing what it is that you're truly doing. That is why I went back to the foundations, right? You always start from the beginning, start from the bottom and work your way up. Build your foundation on something sturdy so you don't have a tower moment. And sometimes tower moments have to happen. I'm sorry, but they do. Your tower moments allow you to like, oh shit, I've been doing this for so long. Let me take a few steps back. Let me be a little more flexible. What am I missing, or what else can I gain for my growth? But it starts within you. You are the most important tool. You are creating your reality. You look past the fucking labels, right? You find your empowerment. You are finding your path. You are here at the crossroads. That's why at least me, I know that I'm here to lead you through the crossroads. I really am. Because I've been at the crossroads stuck almost like a statue for years before I was like, you know what? I'm not liking this. Why do I feel stuck? And that'll be for another episode. But realizing it and then going forward, like, you know what? No, this is not working for me. This timeline, no. It's time to shift. It's time for me to go and actually move down a path, whether it's the quote unquote right path, quote unquote the wrong path. I needed to go forward. Discovering your own path, oh my gosh, it is so empowering. It is so invigorating. This is where we really are honest with ourselves. It's not just like, oh, I'm really crushing on this person. I'm just going to do a love spell because I want to have them bind it to me. No, 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 no. What is it about them that makes you feel this way? And how can we find this somewhere else within you? And then we branch out, right? Because there's a whole binding someone can go sideways real quick. But just starting small, starting at the beginning, knowing yourself. Really figuring out how you love to express or just figure out who you are. You know what? I myself am a recovering people pleaser and perfectionist. I wanted to sit with myself and like, what talents do I have? And what, I guess, I mean, I don't want to say weaknesses, but what are some things that hold me back? And people pleasing was one of them. People pleasing was a huge one. And being a perfectionist, that one, those are always things I got to work on. But so all this to say, don't worry about what you see on Pinterest. Don't worry what you see on Instagram and what you read on Threads and TikTok about the way, this person does their craft. And know that you are starting on your time. It is time to break away from comparing yourself to other people and other witches and other spiritualists. You are on your own time. It's time to release. Time to start letting go of what was holding you back and see what you really have in front of you and within you. And again, if you need that help, hey, Susie, I'm between a rock and a hard place. How can I get started? We'll have a conversation. Are you in between literally two options? Let's pull some cards. Are you feeling like you're ready to go, but you're feeling something's like holding you back or holding you down? Maybe you have a little block there. Let's do a Reiki session. And it doesn't necessarily have to be through me. I just hope that we're having this connection, right? Where you trust me. But if there was someone that you've already been, wanting to go through services, as long as you do your research and you know that they're good and they have the reviews and the testimonials to back them up, go for it. Or shoot, take the step, take the plunge and start doing it yourself. there's so many resources out there now that witchcraft and spirituality is kind of trending right now, and I love it. I think we all need to be come together in this and feel each other's power and fuel each other where we're not competing against each other. Gross. No. You are here, you heal yourself, you heal others, you heal the world. That's how I feel anyway. So, you are the magic, gorgeous soul. You really are. You just might need some direction. So, if you're looking for that direction and you haven't, and this is your first episode, go back a few. It's not much. I just started this episode, I just started this podcast, so there's not much to catch up on. But get out there, go back, hear what resonates with you, see what ask your spirit team, even though you've never spoken to them before, like, hey, for my highest good and my highest vibration, can you send me a sign on maybe what path I want to take? Should I start dabbling in, crystals or journaling? Send me a butterfly for crystals, send me three birds flying in the sky for journaling. So get specific so that you don't get confused yourself. But magic is all around us, and it starts with you. Okay. Well, before I keep going and going and going, this is a good place. I feel complete right here. And I hope you do too. Again, if you have any questions, I got all the links. You can find me on my socials. You can shoot me an email. You also can find where you can sign up for the Phoenix Rising. Get on the wait list, just so that way you're on there and I can answer any questions for you because I only have a limited amount of seats because it is for the community and I want to have enough time and energy to have one-on-one with all of you. And if you have any questions about anything, hit me up. If you have an idea for a topic, there's a link down there too. I want to hear what you have questions about or what you would love to hear as a topic on future episodes. And I'm going to hopefully soon, probably within the next episode, have a option for you to support this podcast, and I will shout out your name here on the pod alive. All right, gorgeous soul, go out there, feel the magic, and until next time, I will see you at the crossroads.